Halina kayo, kain na tayo ng brown rice. Masarap na mas masustansya pa kesa white rice. Vitamin at mineral, seksay pa rin, pampalusog ng katawan ng bata't matanda. Para sa ating lahat, ang brown rice. Calcium,
Papatibay ng buto para sa healthiness.
niacin sa panunaw na maayos, magnesium, taga-ayos ng katawan mo. Halina kayo, kain na tayo ng brown rice. Masarap na mas masustansya pa kesa white rice. Vitamin at mineral, seksay pa rin, pampalusog ng katawan ng bata't matanda. Para sa ating lahat, ang brown rice. Sagot sa malnutrition, iwas cancer, diabetes at sakit sa puso. Konting kain lang, mabubusog ka na. Halina, tulungan ang bayan. Halina, mag-brown rice na. Mag-brown rice na.
4 years and counting. With over 2.8 million website users, IFNRI is a trusted source of food, nutrition, health in the Philippines. Home to 6 components: ISS, iServe, iLearn, iBusiness, iPromote, and iAdmin. The harmonized information and communication technology hub of the Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute is now expanding to serve you better. IFNRI Reimagined. iTrain is a new addition to the group. Users can now enroll in face-to-face online or offline trainings and watch, learn, and enjoy nutrition videos anytime, anywhere, while earning continuing professional development credits with iTrain. We also upgraded the original components. Nutrition counseling is now online. We also have new nutrition tools to aid users count their calorie intake with the Healthy Eating and Lifestyle program online. Prepare and serve healthy meals by calculating energy and nutrient content, quantified recipe and food costs of your recipe or menu using the Menu Eval Plus. Download the latest National Nutrition Survey data using public files for free. Know if your area is on track of meeting their nutrition targets with eNutrition. Rate the food's characteristics using science-based assessment that is convenient, efficient, time-saving, and many more with enhanced sensory evaluation laboratory. Access 1,500 food items with photos and many more nutrition data using the Philippine food composition tables. Do you want to know how much Filipinos eat? Perform basic to complicated statistical analysis using the food consumption data of the National Nutrition Survey with the Food Consumption Data Dietary Exposure Assessment. Thinking of starting a business? Learn more about DOST-FNRI's products and technologies and become one of our adapters using the Electronic Technology Transfer Monitoring Map. Undernutrition is a persistent problem in the Philippines. Be part of the solution. Be part of the DOST package advocacy for the improvement of nutrition of young children. Need nutrient, biochemical, and microbiological analysis results? Avail our services and track your status using FNRI's Service Laboratory Integrated Online System. IFNRI is also home to the first accredited Philippine food proficiency testing provider in the country. Learn more about this new service. Check out the FNRI Proficiency Testing Laboratory website. Locally available but internationally comparable reference materials. From tracking the reference materials from designated courier to extending feedback to FNRI. Learn more about nutrition while having fun. Access the different modules of nutritionschool.ph. Play nutrition games with iLearn. New data, more features, available 24/7. Start exploring the new website. Visit i.fnri.dost.gov.ph.
The Food and Nutrition Research Institute's Sensory Evaluation Laboratory primarily serves the sensory evaluation needs of FNRI in-house researchers. FNRI SEL assists food industries with their product to move up the value chain and attain global competitiveness through research, teaching or training, and consultancy service. The laboratory is designed following ISO requirement for sensory evaluation. It has a preparation room equipped with chiller and freezer, microwave oven, cooking range, utensils for food preparation and service, a conference room for group discussions, hand washing station, and 10 partitioned evaluation booths with computers, controlled lighting, noise, and temperature. One of FNRI SEL's best assets are the trained and experienced managers, sensory analysts, and sensory panelists. The laboratory employs internationally acceptable and validated test methods and computerized data collection through their customized eSEL software. FNRI SEL offers various services to help food industries with their product development. Consumer acceptability and preference test helps identify which flavor, smell, texture, and appearance is preferred. Descriptive and sensory profiling test includes development of language for product significant attributes and creates its sensory blueprint. Difference test is a procedure used for quality monitoring of in-between batch consistency or changes of product quality through time. Other services: seminars and trainings on sensory evaluation, panelist recruitment and training, consultation on experimental design, computerized data collection. The sensory facilities are used to educate students, entrepreneurs, technical staff of food industries, as well as managers and decision makers on the science of food acceptance. Knowledge on sensory evaluation helps identify which flavors, smell, texture, and appearance delivered to the highest consumer likings. How to avail the services? FNRI SEL plans to extend their sensory evaluation expertise to meet the needs of food-related and consumer products industries. Future endeavors for FNRI SEL, which will ensure consumer perception will be the heart of FNRI food innovation, are the following: infrastructure development to cater testing for appearance, odor, texture, taste; development of expert panels; computerization of data management system with application of sensometrics to extract information from large sensory data; and development of staff competency on fields of flavor science, human behavior, and statistics. The final judge of food quality is our customer. Understand customer insights and consider sensory evaluation as a tool to measure customer satisfaction. Thinking quality? Thinking sensory? Talk to us.
In 2010, DOST-FNRI revolutionized its take on nutrition by incorporating genomics in its researches, investigating the relationship of anthropometric, biochemical, clinical, dietary, and health components to the genetic makeup of Filipinos. DOST-FNRI is looking into providing a more personalized approach of achieving optimum nutrition to every Filipino. Through nutritional genomics, we attempt to better understand how a single nucleotide, a single letter, can make a big difference in our way of living. And so, to support this endeavor, DOST-FNRI capitalized on establishing its molecular laboratory known as the Nutritional Genomics or the NuGen Lab. With its thrust of bringing science for the people, the NuGen Lab provides assessment of genes and genetic variants associated with micronutrient deficiencies and diet-related non-communicable diseases. The NuGen Lab is equipped with some of the state-of-the-art equipment in molecular biology such as the automated nucleic acid extraction machine, bioinformatics, real-time and digital PCR systems, automated liquid handling system, micro-volume spectrophotometer system, and gel documentation system. With a complete workflow adhering to the highest standard of competency in laboratory testing, NuGen Lab is setting the mark in providing mole biotechniques with transparency, validity, and reliability. Whether you are an individual or a group of enthusiasts seeking answers in nutritional genomics, the NuGen Lab awaits you. Our proficient personnel works in close contact with our customers through customized analysis, provision of technical consultancy in nutritional genomics, and standardization or laboratory competency. To even serve you better, we are partnering with a leader in genomic testing for a higher throughput and faster turnaround time. Welcome to the new generation of nutrition. Welcome to the NuGen Lab.
The FNRI Service Laboratory is an ISO IEC 17025 accredited laboratory which is composed of 3 laboratories. It is the focal agency of the Department of Science and Technology for Nutrition Labeling and is recognized by the Philippine FDA for nutrition labeling and by BFAR for marine food products analysis. It is the only laboratory in the Philippines that is capable to analyze serum vitamin A and urinary iodine excretion. Initially mandated to conduct researches on biological parameters and support the laboratory needs of various in-house food research and development projects, FNRI-SL has continuously expanded and has offered its services also to the public. The chemical laboratory is equipped with instruments that allow proximate determination and physical-chemical analysis of foods. Also, our laboratory is equipped with state-of-the-art modern instruments such as high-performance liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, atomic absorption spectrophotometer, graphite furnace equipped AAS, automatic analyzer, WYD iodine checker, and the UV-Vis spectrophotometer is currently used for developing methods and water quality assessment. In the biochemical laboratory, other modern instrumentation are being used in order to support the National Nutrition Survey, medical research institutions, LGUs, non-government and international organizations. Having continuously participated and showed satisfactory results in the quality assurance programs of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Biochem Lab offers now a wide range of tests. Meanwhile, the Microbiological Lab is a food laboratory offering range of tests covering spoilage, indicator and pathogenic microorganisms in food and water samples. The Microlab offers the following. Also, the Microlab conducts isolation and identification of pathogenic microorganisms in food that are of significance to public health. Recently, the laboratory has also started performing molecular pathogen detection in food and bacterial cultures. Using the technology of real-time polymerase chain reaction, detection of Salmonella and Vibrio has become more rapid and accurate, as we are committed to deliver high-quality and timely services. The laboratory is maintained by well-trained, experienced, and PRC-registered chemists and chemical technicians, medical technologists, and registered microbiologists on analysis of different samples. Aside from our commitment to maintain quality data generation, FNRI SL also holds trainings and continuous consultation to customers and stakeholders. In the future, the laboratory aims to expand its services by offering specialized tests to the public. In order to do this, we commit to continuously develop methods and train our laboratory staff for excellence and quality service.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the fifth and final day of the DOST-FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition with the theme Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days, Starting Right is the Right Start. So we have some announcement. We are looking for nutrition and nursing graduates. We are currently have an online training. So we are inviting more trainees. So we have our contact details in the slide. We also in need of registered medical technologists for our ongoing National Nutrition Survey. So here are the details, contact details. So good morning, everyone. Yesterday, we had two technical sessions. The morning session was on nutrition and aging, which capitalized on the cutting-edge research on the nutrition and health of the world's fastest growing age group, which is the elderly. And in the afternoon session, we had the technical session 6, which is on household nutrition. We had 3 presentations. The first paper titled Monitoring Consumption of Sugar Sweetened Beverages, an Input to Republic Act number 10963. And then the second paper titled Trend in Reading Food Product and Nutrition Labels Among Filipinos 2008 to 2019. And then the last paper titled The Food Consumption of Filipinos at the Household Levels, at the household and individual levels, findings and lessons gained from the expanded National Nutrition Survey. So it has been a week of new learnings for all of us, and I hope that you'll spare another 1.5 hours of your time attending this morning's session. I am Dave Briones, and I will be your moderator for this session on DOST-FNRI's whereabouts before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. But first, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our special guest. We have them in the room. Our former directors, Dr. Rodolfo Florentino and Dr. Mario V. Capanzana. We also have NDAP President, Ms. Zenaida Velasco. Our PAN President, Dr. Cecilia Acuin. We have also Ma'am JD, Ma'am Julieta Dorado. We also have from the PRC Board of Nutrition and Dietetics, Ms. Joy Ramos Buenviaje. And then we also have from UPLB Institute of Human Nutrition and Food, Dr. Maria Teresa Talavera, DOST CAR Director, Dr. Nancy Bantog, and also our former Division Chief, Ma'am Esteng, Dr. Celesta Tanchoco. We also have FNRI Ethics Committee Chair, Dr. Desiree Daniega, Executive Director, Nutrition Foundation of the Philippines, Ms. Maria Lourdes A. Vega. Good morning po. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. So as of now, we are viewed by 640 participants via Zoom, and from YouTube, we have 20 participants as of now. Before we start, allow me to share some important reminders. This technical session is simulcast live via DOST-FNRI YouTube. Please make sure to time in for the session by accomplishing the attendance form provided in the chat box. This is needed for your PRC CPD units. After the session, you have to answer the post test at the FSS website. The post test link will serve as your logout for this technical session. Failure to answer the post test will mean that you did not log out for this technical session. Also, take note that you have to provide the correct FSS technical session code, without which will mean that you did not answer the post test. Hence, you will not receive a certificate for the session. Again, let me emphasize that we will only provide the FSS technical session code once we are done with our panelists and with the open forum. Only registered participants will be given certificates for this 47th FNRI seminar series. These certificates will only be available once you have completed the post-test and feedback evaluation forms. For all our registered participants, the post-test of all sessions will be available up to 3 days after the event. Certificates of attendance for each session will be available once you answer the evaluation link. You will not be awarded CPD units on this. Certificate of participation will be available once you answer the post-test and evaluation link of technical sessions. Only those with certificates of participation will be awarded CPD units. And all certificates will be available starting July 12, 2021. So that's 3 days after the event. So everyone, please feel free to ask questions. We encourage you to key in your questions in the Q&A box below your screen. So dun po sa mga viewing po via Zoom natin, and also we also have the chat box. And then yun pong ating mga participants via YouTube po, we also have the chat box po for the questions. Our panelists will address selected questions during the open forum. However, in the interest of time, we may not be able to answer all of them. So I encourage you to indicate your name and affiliation so we may be able to get back to you after the event. So as of now, we have 691 participants viewing via Zoom, and then 66 from YouTube. So again, good morning, everyone. So let's officially start the session. When the coronavirus was first discovered, nobody expected it to blow up the way it did. In fact, the virus was not perceived as dangerous at all until it took lives in China and traveled to different parts of the world. More than a year has passed since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic. Hundreds of millions of people have lived through lockdowns. COVID-19 pandemic has led to a dramatic loss of human life worldwide and presented an unprecedented challenge to public health, food systems, and the world of work. The economic and social disruption caused by the pandemic is devastating. Tens of millions of people are at risk of falling into extreme poverty, while the number of undernourished people is expected to increase. Many have made the abrupt shift to working from home. Millions have lost jobs. The future looks uncertain. We don't know when or if our societies might return to normal or what kind of scars the pandemic will leave. Mid-March of 2020, the third year of the expanded National Nutrition Survey was discontinued due to the nationwide implementation of the enhanced community quarantine. The uncertainty of the resumption of the survey was then high because of the increasing trend of COVID-19 cases. But despite of what was happening, a group of researchers from the DOST-FNRI, together with other collaborators, saw it as an opportunity and took on the challenge to implement a research project in the middle of the ECQ. This morning, we will be hearing from our two panelists the updates and results of the research studies conducted, one before the COVID-19 pandemic and the other one during the COVID-19 pandemic. The first presentation will provide of how DOST-FNRI addressed the emerging concerns of the COVID-19 disease and impart up-to-date nutrition and health status of Filipinos before the pandemic. It will provide snapshot of the nutritional status of the Filipinos before the COVID-19 pandemic and how it can serve as a critical springboard in crafting relevant nutrition and health strategies and interventions towards a better normal for the Filipino population. Well, the second presentation aims to showcase the results of the collaborative VCO study spearheaded by the DOST-FNRI and other collaborators. So moving on to our panelists. Also, our first panelist is Ms. Charmaine Duante, a supervising research specialist and currently the officer in charge of the Nutritional Assessment and Monitoring Division. Ms. Duante is a registered medical technologist. She finished her BS degree in medical technology from the University of Santo Tomas and earned her MS in epidemiology major in public health from the University of the Philippines, Manila. She has authored and co-authored numerous publications in the field of public health and nutrition. Her recent achievement was given by the Faculty of Pharmacy, University of Santo Tomas, as one of the Distinguished Alumni Award for Science and Technology category. Today, she will be presenting the pre-COVID-19 and nutrition situation of Filipinos. Our second panelist is Mr. J. Kusnasis, a science research specialist from the Nutrition and Food Research Development Division. Mr. Nasis is a registered medical technologist by profession. He finished his BS in Medical Technology from Lorma College. His postgraduate degrees include Diploma in Research and Development Management from University of the Philippines Open University and Masters in Business Administration Health Program at the Ateneo de Manila University. His field of expertise is on nutritional genomics, and he has authored and co-authored a number of publications which were also presented here and abroad. A recipient of numerous awards, namely FNRI Model Employee Award in 2016, the DOST International Publication Award in 2016 to 2018, and also 2020, given by the National Academy of Science and Technology. Today, he will be sharing the effects of virgin coconut oil among suspect and probable cases of COVID-19. Let us all welcome Ms. Charmaine A. Duante and Mr. J. Kusnasis. So without further ado, our first panelist for technical session, Ms. Charmaine A. Duante. Over to you, Ma'am Chari.
Good morning. My report is on the pre-COVID-19 food and nutrition situation of Filipinos. This is my declaration of conflict of interest that the presenter declares no known competing financial interest or personal relationships that could have appeared to influence the work in this presentation. First, let me give some situationer before the onset of the pandemic. These pictures describe Metro Manila in 2019 before the pandemic strike or hit the metro. The streets were full of people struggling for a ride to the workplace because of mass transport strike. The jeepneys, as the common means of public transport, were in full capacity. The restaurants or fast food centers were often full of customers, and religious processions and other festivities were heavily participated by devotees. The updated poverty incidence of 2018 revealed that 16.6% or about 17.6 million of poor Filipinos were living below the poverty line. Despite a decline in the poverty rate in the Philippines from 23.3% in 2015, the current pandemic could have a direct and indirect impact on poverty and inequality due to 1. Loss of livelihoods, 2. A partial or total disruption of supply, which include many micro, small, and medium enterprises, a massive increase in personal and MSME debts or loans, the loss of primary income earner in families due to illness or death, and the decrease in the remittances from overseas Filipino workers. Let us look at the employment rate before the pandemic as recorded by the Labor Force Survey of the PSA. Employment rate or ER was high in 2019 at 94.8%. While underemployment rate or underemployed persons or employed persons to express their desire to have additional hours of work in their present job or to have additional job or to have any job with longer hours of work was estimated at 15.5%. Unemployment was lowest before the pandemic and highest at the start of the pandemic. The health and nutrition indicators that I will be presenting came from the expanded National Nutrition Survey, or the ENNS, conducted in 2019. So I will share a brief background of the ENNS as well as its methodology. In 2018, DOST-FNRI changed the survey design of the National Nutrition Survey, or the NNS, in answer to the clamor of LGUs for a lower level disaggregation of data. The generated estimates are reliable at the province and HUC levels, and this can be used as basis in crafting of their development plan. There is a need to generate nutrition and health data annually at the national level to cover key health and nutrition indicators for monitoring national programs and to track changes or improvement on the SDG indicators, where FNRI provides official statistics to goals 2 and 3 of the 17 SDGs. In 2018, the new design of the survey was approved for adoption through PSA Board Resolution number 6 series of 2018 rather. So the design of the survey is now termed as a rolling survey. It covers a total of 117 sampling domains that includes 81 provinces, 33 highly urbanized cities, and 3 other special areas. An average of 1,336 households in each domain are targeted for data collection. So the data collection is expanded into 3 years, contrary to the previous NNS, wherein data collection for all provinces was done only in 6 months. In the first year of implementation of the ENNS in 2018, 40 provinces and HUCs were covered. Another set of 40 in 2019, and the remaining 37 areas in 2020. However, the data collection in 2020 was discontinued due to the pandemic. Moreover, the areas assigned at each year were selected using a replicated sampling methodology. The 2013 master sample of the PSA, or the Philippine Statistic Authority, was adopted as the sampling design of the ENNS. The 2013 MS design for household-based survey is a 2-stage cluster sampling design with barangays or enumeration areas or EAs or group of adjacent small barangays or EAs as the primary sampling unit. A primary sampling unit or a PSU is composed of 100 to 400 households. The second stage is the selection of the housing units or households within the sample PSU. The full MS has 16 replicates of PSUs. An average of 1,536 households were targeted to be collected for all of the components of the ENNS, except for the biochemical and dietary components. We collected data from half of the target households because of high cost of laboratory analysis for the biochemical component and a tedious manner of data collection for the dietary survey. Let me share a brief comparison between the old design and the new design of the survey. The NNS was a one-shot survey done every 5 years, while the ENNS data collection is extended into 3 years. The updating survey is also a one-shot survey that is done in between 2 national nutrition surveys, but with the conduct of the ENNS, the updating survey is no longer needed. Thus, a huge amount of budget was saved. The sampling design of the survey refers to the procedure on how sample areas were selected or chosen. The NNS utilized the old MS of the PSA that covers 17 regions and 80 provinces of the country, while the IFNRI adopted the 2013 master sample that covers a total of 117 sampling domains. The NNS utilized 4 replicates to permit estimations at the national and regional level, while the INNS utilized 16 replicates to allow estimations at a lower level of disaggregation at the province and HUC levels. The sample size for the INNS is about 4 times larger than the NNS. Because of the pandemic, the conduct of the INNS was greatly affected. So here are some updates. 1, only 2 years of data collection were done, covering 2018 and 2019. The 2020 INNS was discontinued due to the Luzon-wide Enhanced Community Quarantine or ECQ. Third, the 2021 survey will collect data on the remaining 37 areas of the INNS to determine the possible effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the nutrition and health status of the Filipino population. So what is the main objective of the INNS? The general objective of the INNS is to provide empirical data on the nutrition and health status of Filipinos for planning nutrition and development programs and for timely policy decisions at the province or the HUC and national level. Specifically, the INNS aimed to, number 1, assess the physical growth and dimensions of children and other population groups using anthropometric indicators. Second, to assess nutrition biomarkers of children and other population groups, for example, hemoglobin for anemia, serum retinol for vitamin A, and urinary iodine concentration on iodine status. Next is to determine the prevalence of non-communicable disease risk factors among 10 years old and above. Second is to determine the energy and nutrient intake at the household and individual levels. Also to assess the magnitude of food insecurity and coping mechanisms among households. And number 4 is to monitor or track progress in the achievement of SDGs designated to FNRI as the data source. So these are SDG 2 and SDG 3. Next is to evaluate the association of different risk factors to nutrition and health status, and to collect some socio-economic and demographic characteristics of the households and individuals. So here are some updates on the indicators of SDGs assigned to FNRI as the official data source. For SDG 2, the goal is to end hunger by 2030 and ensure access by all people, in particular the poor and people in vulnerable situations, including infants, to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food all year round. So one of the indicators for this target is the proportion of households meeting the 100% of the recommended energy intake. Take note that the baseline data for this is the 2015 updating of the nutritional status of the population, and the updates or the latest data was taken from the pooled estimate of the 2018 to 2019 INNS. So the proportion of households meeting 100% of the recommended energy intake was 31% in 2015, and it went down to 23.5% in 2019. The decline is significant. The aim for Target 2.2 is to end all forms of malnutrition by 2030. Including achieving by 2025 the internationally agreed targets on stunting and wasting among children under 5 years of age. So one of the indicators is the prevalence of stunting among children under 5 years of age. So the baseline was 33.4 and it went down to 29.6 in the 2019 IFNRI. Another indicator is the prevalence of wasting among children under 5. So baseline was 7.1% in 2015 and it went down to 5.7% in 2019. The prevalence of overweight among these children under 5 was 3.9% in baseline and it went down by 0.4 percentage points to 3.5% in 2019. On the prevalence of vitamin A deficiency among 6 months to 5 years old children and among the elderly, the prevalence of VAD significantly declined in 2019. VAD is determined by serum retinol level of below 20 micrograms per TL. Among pregnant women and lactating mothers, the prevalence of vitamin A deficiency also went down significantly. VAD problem in the Philippines is considered mild except among children 6 months to 5 years. Another indicator for this target is the prevalence of anemia. Anemia is a condition in which the body lacks enough healthy red blood cells to carry adequate oxygen to the body's tissue. It is assessed by hemoglobin level. Among children 6 months to 5 years old, pregnant women, lactating mothers, and the elderly, anemia prevalence has declined in 2019, but the difference in the prevalences between 2015 and 2019 is not significant. On the other hand, the proportion of exclusively breastfed infants under 6 months of age has increased from 48.8% in 2015 to 56.4% in 2019, and the increase is significant. Now for goal 3, ensuring healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. So the indicators for this target are age standardized prevalence of current tobacco use among persons aged 15 years and older, and the prevalence of current tobacco use among adolescents and among the elderly. So for the age standardized prevalence of current tobacco use among 15 years and older, the baseline rate was 22.9% in the 2015 survey. And it went down to 20.1% in 2019. And so with the prevalence of tobacco use among the adolescents and the elderly, the baseline prevalences were 5.8% and 24.9% respectively. And the decline is not significantly different from the baseline and the current update. DOST-FNRI has been tracking the prevalence of NCD risk factors in the country since 1998. And NCD data collected for the 8th National Nutrition Survey in 2013 served as baseline data to the attainment of the global NCD targets for 2025. Among these targets, only the 3 targets, so shaded in black and pink, on the reduction of premature mortality from NCDs, increased coverage of essential NCD medicines and technologies, as well as the increased coverage on drug therapy and counseling were not covered by the NNS conducted by IFNRI. 6 of the 9 indicators for the global NCD targets were assessed and monitored to track progress or changes using the indicators collected in the survey. So we determined the percent reduction for each of the indicator in order for us to attain the 2025 target. So these are on raised BP, raised blood sugar, and overweight and obesity for biological risk factors, smoking and binge drinking, and physical inactivity for the behavioral risk factors. For the prevalence of raised blood pressure in adults, the baseline in 2013 was 22.3%. So the target is to reduce by 25%. And the latest data is 18.3%. For the prevalence of raised blood sugar in adults, baseline was 5.6%. The target is there should be no increase in the proportion. And for the latest data, the prevalence of raised blood sugar in adults is 8.1%. The prevalence of overweight and obesity among adults is 8.3% in 2013. Again, the target is no increase in the prevalence. And the latest data in the 2018-2019 pooled estimate is 10.7%. Among adults, the baseline data was 31.1%. And the update or the latest data is 36.6%. Among the behavioral risk factors, number one, on smoking, the prevalence of current smoking among adolescents in the baseline data in 2013 was 6.9%. And it went down to 3.7% in the latest update in the 2019 IFNRI. So the target for that indicator is 30% reduction by 2025. Among adults, the prevalence of current smoking was 25.4% in 2013, and it went down to 20.3% in the 2019 IFNRI. Next is on the proportion of binge drinking among adolescents. So the data was in 2015 at 3%, and it went down to 2.6% in the latest IFNRI. Among adults, binge drinking is 15% in 2013, the baseline data, and it went down to 12.5% in the 2019 pooled estimate. So the target for this indicator is 10% reduction. And the last of the behavioral risk factors is the proportion of insufficiently physically active individuals. For adolescents, the proportion of non-active individuals is 78% in the latest update. And among adults, the baseline proportion was 45.5%, and it went down to 40.5% in the latest IFNRI. So the target for this indicator by 2025 is 10% reduction. Let us take a look at the food security status of our households. So food security, as defined by the UN Committee on World Food Security, this means that all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. So using the HFIAS, or the Household Food Security Scale, this is a tool in measuring the food security status in the past month or 30 days. So the pooled estimates in the last survey, the 2018 and 2019, showed a significant increase in the proportions of food-secured households compared in 2015. Starting Right is the Right Start is FNRI's theme in the celebration of Nutrition Month campaign, Malnutrisyong Patuloy na Labanan, First 1,000 Days Tutukan. So what is the right thing to do in combating malnutrition among infants and young children under 2 years? According to WHO, optimal nutrition during the first 2 years of life lowers morbidity and mortality, reduces the risk of chronic diseases, and fosters better development overall. So optimal breastfeeding is so critical that it could save the lives of over 820,000 children under the age of 5 years each year. So the latest available data on IYCF, or the Infant Young Child Feeding Indicators, that INNS collects are shown in this slide and in the succeeding slide. So on breastfeeding indicators, a significantly higher proportions of breastfeeding initiation within 1 hour after delivery, as well as exclusive breastfeeding from birth to 5 months were noted in the 2019 INNS. Exclusive breastfeeding among infants at 5 months is higher than the 2015 estimates. Continued breastfeeding did not change much at 1 year and 2 years. Consumption of nutritionally adequate complementary foods is essential for optimal growth and development of infants and toddlers. The latest survey in 2019 showed that 8 out of 10 infants were introduced to complementary food in a timely manner. However, 8 out of 10 were not meeting the minimum dietary diversity, while 9 out of 10 infants and young children did not receive appropriate complementary feeding based on the minimum acceptable diet, suggesting poor quality and quantity of complementary foods. So in summary, stunting and wasting rates among children under 5 significantly declined, but the problem is still of public health significance. Vitamin A deficiency and anemia among under 5 children, the elderly, and pregnant women and lactating mothers significantly declined. Obesity is still a problem among adults 20 years and over. A rising prevalence of high fasting blood sugar among adults and the elderly was noted. Hypertension significantly declined among adults 20 years old and over. Tobacco use is declining in our population. The prevalence of binge drinking among adolescents and the adults are also declining. 8 out of 10 adolescents are physically inactive. Early breastfeeding initiation significantly increased. Exclusive breastfeeding from birth to 5 months significantly increased. And 9 out of 10 infants and young children did not receive appropriate complementary feeding based on the minimum acceptable diet, suggesting poor quality and quantity of complementary foods. And 2 out of 10 infants did not receive timely introduction of complementary feeding at 6 months. Food insecurity among households significantly declined from 61.1% in 2015 to 56% in 2019. And the proportion of Filipino households meeting 100% of the recommended energy intake significantly declined from 31% in 2015 to 23.5% in 2019. For my recommendation, this will focus on the Nutrition Month theme. So malnutrition, patuloy nating labanan. First 1,000 days ay tutukan. So using the latest, reliable, and available information on the nutritional status and the IYCF practices as evidence is the right start to provide appropriate and specific interventions during the first 1,000 days of life. Starting right could effectively address stunting and other forms of micronutrient deficiencies. This ends my report. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Chari, for that updates in ENNS 2018 to 2019. So I have some points lang po noted. So the survey design was changed in 2018 for the ENNS due to low level of allocated data. So mas malaking coverage na po for yung 2018 to 2019 coverage. The new design was supposed to cover 81 provinces and 33 HUCs and other areas. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it was discontinued. Some remarkable results: there was significant increase in the percentage of breastfed children and also a significant decline in prevalence of VAD for population group 60 and above. So thank you very much, Ma'am Chari. Let's give her a virtual clap. So again, po, feel free to type in your questions and this will be answered during the open forum. Don't forget to indicate your names and your affiliations. And then before moving on to our second panelist, we have to acknowledge again very special guest. We have from College of Development Communication, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Dr. Benjamina Paula Gonzalez Flor, and then from SME Soft Incorporated, Planning and Evaluation Service, Managing Director, Director Cesar R. Pedraza, and then again, si Dr. Mian Silvestre po from KMIM. Good morning, ma'am. FNR Ethics Committee Member, Mr. Red De Silva, from PAN, Ms. Ellen Villate, from Nutrition and Health Assistant Manager from Unilever Philippines, Mr. Merrick Principe, and a former colleague in FNRI po, from Research Consultant UN World Food Program Philippines, Ms. Rhea Benavides de Leon. And then we also have our director, Dr. Agdepa, good morning po, and Dr. Calibo, our Deputy Director, good morning po. And then I would like to give a shout out to the hardworking men and women of FNRI na hindi po natin kasama ngayon kasi on field po sila. So we have in Pangasinan, the Nutrient Availability Unit staff from Pangasinan po para po sa kanilang project. And then the group of Maylin Kahukom in Cotabato and Ms. Cha Javier in Tarlac po. So good morning po sa inyong lahat. And then currently we have 829 participants in Zoom and 166 in YouTube. So on to our next panelist. Let us all welcome Mr. Nasis. Over to you, Mr. Nasis.
When something unexpected, such as a global pandemic, hits home, how and when to start right? Is the action at the outset the right strategy? Initiated right in the middle of the COVID-19 chaos, this collaborative study on the use of virgin coconut oil as an adjunct supplement for suspect and probable COVID-19 patients was proven to normalize the C-reactive protein, a known marker of inflammation, and accelerated the diminishing of the COVID-19 symptoms. The biggest aim of this presentation is to provide additional information on the things you might have watched on TV or have read in the papers, such as, of all things, why virgin coconut oil? How was the study conducted? What were the motivations of the project team? And after giving out the results, what lies ahead? Once again, a pleasant morning to everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Maraming salamat po sa pagkapit until the last day of the 47th FNRI Seminar Series. On behalf of our director, Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, and our former director, Dr. Mario B. Capanzana, Dr. Fabian Dairit, Mr. Carl Vincent Cabanilla, and all the men and women who braved the pandemic kahit bawal lumabas. My name is Jacos Nasis, a Science Research Specialist 2 of the Nutrition and Food Research and Development Division, and I'm humbled to present the results of the study titled The Effects of Virgin Coconut Oil Among Suspect and Probable Cases of COVID-19. On the get-go, the authors would like to disclose that we have no known competing financial interest or personal relationships that may affect the integrity of this work that I'm about to present. March 2020, lahat tayo nagpa-plot na ng summer plans when suddenly, a lockdown. That tiny thing that is causing our fears as early as the last quarter of 2019 has already reached our shores. Truly, ang pagdating ng COVID-19 pandemic ay isa sa maituturing nating pinakamalaking hamon sa ating henerasyon. A challenge that we never thought we will experience in our lifetime. They say that in times of uncertainty, it is inevitable, it is just normal to trust our instincts. And please allow me to frame the rationale of this project from the context of the fight or flight response. Nasabi po nila, when we are faced with unexpected situations, our instincts undergo 3 distinct stages: alarm, resistance, and eventually exhaustion. When threatened, we experience fear, takot ang una po nating nararamdaman. In the context of COVID-19, we fear for our lives. We are doing our best not to get the virus. We literally wrap ourselves with protection. I think, and if I may state, something positive that happened about this pandemic is our sense of vigilance was reintroduced into our way of life. However, in the middle of it all, we ask ourselves, meron bang agarang solusyon? Are there urgent mitigation strategies? What science can do in time when we are caught flat-footed at wala pang bakuna? One of the immediate responses of the Department of Science and Technology through the Food and Nutrition Research Institute is to redefine resistance by initiating a collaborative project. As an important forward, hindi po ito nagawa ng DOST-FNRI ng nag-iisa. The VCO for COVID-19 project was actually a partnership that was initiated by the Philippine Coconut Authority of the Department of Agriculture, City of Santa Rosa, Laguna, DOST Calabarzon, and the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development. Just in time, as we search for answers, like-minded individuals came up with a set of R&D initiatives to provide solutions, utilizing local and readily available commodities, thus the virgin coconut oil. Why virgin coconut oil? Why not? In 2019, the United Coconut Association of the Philippines and the VCO Producers and Traders Association came up with the statistics, and according to them, we Filipinos consumed 470 metric tons of VCO that year. That was on top of the figure stating that we have exported around 20,000 metric tons of VCO in 2019 alone. Something that we all can relate to is the fact that VCO is popular domestically and globally because of its health and nutritional attributes. It is generally recognized as safe, and it has significant amounts of essential fatty acids and antioxidants. And basing from the mounting evidence, VCO was proven to have antiviral properties at galing po ito sa mga naunang studies. Earlier studies have attributed that the antiviral properties of VCO to its active ingredients monolaurin and lauric acid. Ano po ba ang mga ito? Lauric acid is a medium-chain fatty acid which makes up almost half of the coconut oil, meaning it is the predominant component of the virgin coconut oil. VCO also has monolaurin, which might not be available from the VCO bottle you just purchased, but it will be produced by the body once you ingest the VCO. And in a smaller fraction, VCO also has sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a surfactant. Ano po ba yung surfactant? This is a substance which increases the spreading or wetting properties. And this fraction of the VCO is known to contribute to the VCO's antiviral properties. Now the question is, How can these active ingredients become potent antiviral agents? First, these ingredients destroy the viral membrane or the covering of the virus. Noong 1982, Harholzer and his group showed that monolaurin can reduce the infectivity of about 14 human RNA and DNA envelope virus to as high as 99.9%. And sodium lauryl sulfate, sabi po natin kanina, a surfactant, was shown to solubilize and denature the viral envelope. These active ingredients also prevents the maturation of the virus. Sa kaso po ng lauric acid, in 2001, a group of researchers found that lauric acid prevented the maturation of the Junin virus, which is the causative agent for the Argentine hemorrhagic fever. Interestingly, the structure of the Junin virus is apparently similar to the SARS-CoV-2, which is the causative virus for COVID-19. Likewise, lauric acid was also shown to prevent the binding of viral proteins to the cell membrane of the host. Ano po bang ibig sabihin nun? It prevents the binding in a sense that it prevents the virus in entering or from entering the systemic circulation of an individual. Other components that are found in VCO such as capric acid and monocaprin were also found to pose promising antiviral properties against the HIV-1 virus and the influenza A virus respectively. Now, let's focus sa ating kalaban. Our enemy in this fight is the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, yung tinatawag nating SARS-CoV-2, which is the causative agent for COVID-19. This virus is known to be a positive single-stranded RNA virus, and as the name implies, it appears to have a crown-like features, para po siyang corona, under the microscope due to its spike glycoproteins. This virus is the 7th and largest coronavirus that is capable of infecting humans, and it belongs to the same subgenus as SARS and the MERS-CoV. At the outset of the COVID-19 pandemic in the early 2020, the understanding and therapeutic management of COVID-19 was limited. Alam po natin yan. Thus, it created the urgency to mitigate this new viral illness with experimental therapies and drug repurposing. In our case, with the known antiviral properties of VCO, we hypothesized that it is also effective when given to suspect in probable cases of COVID-19. We further propose that VCO can be potent in giving better prognosis via normalization of the C-reactive protein levels, the WBC profile, the reduction of blood liver enzymes ALT and AST, the normalization of the lipid profile, and the resolution of the classic COVID-19 symptoms such as difficulty to breathe, fever, coughing, loss of smell and taste, among others. We initiated a randomized double-blind intervention study that was conducted in Santa Rosa Community Hospital Isolation Unit and the Santa Rosa Community Isolation Facility. We enrolled suspect and probable cases of COVID-19 in accordance with the DOH Administrative Order 2020-0013, which was promulgated in April 2020. In passing, a suspect case is someone with a severe acute respiratory illness or SARI or influenza-like illness with fever, cough, or sore throat, with severe pneumonia or have traveled in an area with reported transmission. Masasabi naman po natin na probable case ang isang tao when the result of the COVID-19 test was not from a reference laboratory or with inconclusive results. As computed based on an earlier HIV study that was conducted by one of the authors of the study, Dr. Fabian Tairit, the study planned to enroll 56 suspect or probable COVID-19 cases. They should be adults, 20 years old or over, and must be admitted not later than 3 days in the center, with controlled hypertension, with levels of AST and ALT not higher than 3-folds of the normal reference range. Those with heart disease, mga umiinom ng statins and other medications, and individuals with increased lipid profile, and also those who are pregnant, were excluded in the study. So during the screening, we were able to screen around 93 potential participants, and 30 of them were excluded due to various reasons. At the outset, we randomized 63 suspect and probable COVID-19 cases But at the end of the 28-day trial, we were able to analyze the data of only 57 participants. So as you can see on your screen, the different reasons why these individuals drop out from the study. So the participants were randomized to have either the intervention. Ano po ba yung intervention natin? This is a meal or meals, no, mixed with VCO, or the control meal, which is a 28-day standardized meal. These meals were actually developed by DOST-FNRI. So to acclimatize the participants in the intervention group, an initial dose of around 0.6 ml of VCO was added to the breakfast meals of the participants. And after the 3D acclimatization, the dosage was doubled to 1.2 ml of VCO, and this dose was actually mixed to the meals of the participants for their breakfast and lunch meals. For 28 days, all the key variables were monitored. No? Daily po natin monitor yung signs and symptoms, the plate weights, and the dietary intake. On time points 0, 14, and 28 days, other variables were measured and collected, namely the weight, eventually the BMI, the blood indices such as the FBS, lipid profile, WBC count, the C-reactive protein, and CD4 count. Since we are dealing with suspect and probable cases, the study made periodic RT-PCR tests to check on the participants' COVID-19 infective status. So before we tackle the results, you might be wondering, ilan ba sa mga naging participants ng study were actually COVID-19 positive? Let us be reminded that our participants were suspect and probable. So the probability that they are not laboratory confirmed COVID-19 positive is high. So after the baseline RT-PCR, more than half of the participants in both groups are COVID-19 positive. 3 were actually added, 2 from the VCO group and 1 from the control group during the midline testing. Fortunately, all of them were negative from COVID-19 towards the end of the trial. For the characteristics of our participants, at the start of the trial, majority were single and employed, and mostly on their late 20s and early 30s. As we are all aware of, FBS is routinely measured to check on our circulating blood glucose on a fasted state. Sa konteksto po ng COVID-19, an increased level of glucose in the blood is associated with severe COVID-19 and is being used as an index of inflammation and multiple organ failures. In our study, we found no significant difference in the levels of FBS between the two groups at all time points of data collection. Significantly, higher FBS levels were evident among the participants who were enrolled in the control group. Now, for the blood lipid profile naman po, no, the measurement of blood lipid profile, such as the total cholesterol, the HDL, which is the good cholesterol, LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, and triglycerides, in the context of COVID-19, is indicative of disease progression. Increased lipid values returns to normal levels as patients recovers from infection. Those who were randomized in the intervention group have consistently elevated good and bad cholesterol levels throughout the intervention. However, across all time points, no significant difference between groups was evident. Liver enzymes such as ALT and AST, which are markers in response to liver abnormalities, are increased during COVID-19 infection. Our results support the classic COVID-19 manifestation when it comes to the increased ALT and AST levels. All throughout the intervention, these markers were elevated in both the trial groups with those randomized for the VCO intervention who gave out significantly higher values. WBC count is commonly increased among individuals who acquired the COVID-19 infection. In some cases, however, the circulating lymphocytes may also be reduced. Apparently, the normal WBC index, yung neutrophil, yung lymphocytes, eosinophils, and monocytes, was maintained by the participants all throughout the study. C-reactive protein, on the other hand, which is an index of acute inflammation, is clinically increased among COVID-19 positive individuals. In our study, we found drastic reduction to normal levels of the C-reactive protein in the intervention group. Although both groups po, bumababa naman yung levels ng C-reactive protein. But it was found that there's a greater proportion of the participants, around 83% of them, have returned to normal CRP levels towards the end of the intervention. So for the clinical presentations of COVID-19 like fever, cough, difficulty in breathing, loss of smell and taste were the classical signs and symptoms of COVID-19. So when talking about the signs and symptoms that were monitored daily, take note of the significant reduction of those who were reported to have COVID-19 symptoms among those who were randomized in the intervention group. 10 days before the end of the trial, no one in the intervention group reported to have felt any signs or symptoms. So the highlights of our results. No? In summary, a predetermined dose of VCO mix in the meals of probable and suspect COVID-19 cases or individuals can actually alter the lipid levels by increasing both the LDL-C and HDL-C, no? Both the good and the bad cholesterol respectively. Also, having a predetermined VCO mix in the meals of the participants, we were able to see relief from acute inflammation, and this is evident by the normalization of the levels of the C-reactive protein. And lastly, in the highlights of our results, we were able to see a faster recovery of the participants who were in the intervention group by the acceleration of the resolution of the signs and symptoms of COVID-19. But of course, our results have their own limitations. And one of the caveats of this study is that as a pilot trial, the sample size might be too small to be conclusive, and that some parameters are considered proxy indicators to COVID-19 infection during that time. And having said that, as the knowledge about COVID-19 expands, habang lumalawak ang ating pangunawa at kaalaman tungkol sa COVID-19, there might be some conditions or considerations that were not factored in during the planning of the study. So we are recommending that we need to invest in other functional studies, no, to determine the mechanism of action of VCO. And also we need to understand the specific structure of the virus that is being targeted by the active components of VCO. And kaya na nasabi po natin kanina on the limitations on the sample size, we are recommending for further studies with larger sample size. So allow me to share these photos that were actually taken during the field work and also during the development of the recipes, which was spearheaded by our former colleague, Ms. Marieta Bumanglag. And before I end this presentation, allow me to give some personal note, particularly on what has been learned from this study. We need to understand that in times of health emergencies such as COVID-19, science doesn't stop. Actually, starting or initiating a science research and development project must be immediate in times of health emergencies. The Filipino ingenuity is too persistent that it actually defied the protected borders and closed doors. And this also promoted what we call the scientific nationalism by coming up with a collaborative research and working together to offer solutions in an urgent health emergency. We actually started right in our fight for COVID-19, and let us continue healing as one. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Sir Jacobs, for that comprehensive report. So some points that I have noted po. So there was a reduction to normal range in CRP for both arms and greater number of participants in the intervention group to return to normal CRP levels. There was also significant reduction in the reported symptoms, and by mixing VCO into meal, there is promotion of relief from acute inflammation by reducing the levels of circulating CRP in the blood, and there is also the reduction of feeling or manifestation of COVID-19 symptoms. So again, thank you very much, Sir Jacobs. Let's give him a virtual clap. So after hearing the presentations from our panelists, so it's time for the open forum. But before that, may I acknowledge a very special guest, our former FNRI director, Dr. Corazon Barba. Good morning po. For Ma'am Chari and Sir Jacus, may I request to turn your microphones and videos on for our open forum. Good morning po. Hi, Sir
Morning.
Jacus. Hi, Ma'am Chari.
Morning po.
Good morning po. So, from an anonymous attendee po, our first question from anonymous attendee from Zoom. This is directed to Ma'am Chari. Based on your website, the stunting prevalence among under 5 years old children is 28.8%. But your presentation says it's 29.6% based on 2018 to 2019 pooled estimates. The same for wasting, 5.8% in Nutrition website, but 5.7% in your presentation. May we know which is the official data? Thank you so much.
Okay, good morning sa ating pong lahat. So, for the one who asked this question, maraming salamat po. Talagang nakabisa nyo ang aming e-nutrition website. So, thank you for visiting our website. So, eto kasi pong pooled estimate. I have explained in my presentation that the ENNS is a rolling survey wherein the data collection is supposed to be 3 years. But because of the pandemic, no, so the third year, which was supposedly to be collected in 2020, was discontinued. So, for the latest estimate, kasi wala po kami na survey because nga lahat ay tumigil. So, we used the 2 years, the 2018 and the 2019. That's why my report is on the pooled estimate. Actually, ito naman po yung purpose nito is to report the latest estimates, not only the SDG indicators, but practically all the indicators that we collected in the ENNS. So the latest data, which is the 2019, but the estimate for that is the pooled estimate of the 2018 and 2019 survey. So, meron din pong follow-up question kung paano po namin ginawa yon. So, actually, hindi pa po kami nag-pool ng datasets but pooling of the weighted estimate for the 2 years. So, we check on the standard error na when you pooled the estimate, kasi the 2018 is part of the pooled estimate, so you increase the precision because lumaki po ang sample size. So, that is a total of 40 plus 39 areas ang latest na pinagkuhanan po namin ng pooled estimates. Okay, maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Chari. I think you have another question from an anonymous attendee again from Zoom. So can you expound on pooling of data sets? Thank you, Ma'am Chari.
Sorry, I was muted. So, naisama ko na po yung sagot ko in my previous
Thank you,
statement.
ma'am. Opo.
Thank you.
Now we have question for Sir Jacus. It's from Ms. Claire Mogol Sales. The question is, can this study be replicated in other provinces? Sir Jacus.
Actually, we are conducting, naririnig po ako, sorry. Okay, sige. Actually po, we are now expanding the study in some cities here in NCR. And I think with our project leader already also in the panel, I think it's visible, it's quite visible that we can expand the VCO for COVID-19 study to other provinces para po lalong makakalap tayo ng mas maraming ebidensya on the efficacy of the virgin coconut oil against, hindi naman siya against, but to somehow improve the prognosis for COVID-19 infection.
Thank you, sir. Another question. Again for Sir Jacus, from Dr. Mian Silvestre of KMI. Thank you, Jacobs. I may have missed this, but were the dropout rates in the two groups, reasons for the attrition, and did you perform intention to treat or censored analysis of the results?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Silvestri, for that question. We performed ITT, or intention to treat, for the analysis of the results. For the dropouts, no, doon po sa intervention natin, meron tayong 4 na dropouts. 3 ang nagsabi that they cannot tolerate the taste and smell of the virgin coconut oil na nakamix sa kanilang food. Merong isa na kailangan niyang bumalik sa trabaho because we need to be reminded that during the time of the trial, of course, naka-ECQ yung iba and then nagbabago yung classification ng quarantine natin, and then some need to go back to work. So there are 4 dropouts sa intervention, and then we have 2 dropouts sa ating control group. And ang reason po nila is that they need to go back to Manila para po magtrabaho. Yun po. Salamat po.
Thank you, sir. Another question, but this is directed to Ma'am Chari. Ma'am Chari, from an anonymous attendee. Will FNRI consider gathering data for folic acid deficiency aside from anemia among WRA pregnant women in the coming surveys? Just to check if distribution of IFA among WRA pregnant women is effective. Thanks.
Okay, good morning again. I inquired from our laboratory that the method for folic acid determination is still for validation. So we hope in our future surveys, maisasama po namin ito. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Chari. Another question. This goes to Sir Jacobs from Vans. How was the VCO taken or administered? Thanks.
Okay. Okay, salamat. Salamat po dun sa question. In this leg of the study that we conducted in Santa Rosa, we opted to mix the virgin coconut oil doon sa meal na prepare natin. So basically, we have commissioned the caterer na siyang nag-prepare ng mga foods na actually prepared by DOST-FNRI yung menu. But we opted to hire caterers, commission caterers to prepare the meals. So we mix the VCO based on the, like yung sinabi kanina sa acclimatization is around 0.6 milligrams per kilogram of the body weight of the participants. So hinahalo po siya doon sa pagkain po ng ating mga participants.
Thank you, Sir Jacobs. I think a lot of questions are coming in for Sir Jacobs. So another question from an anonymous attendee. Hi, good morning.
All right.
To Sir Nasis. I would like to ask if there is a difference between coconut milk and VCO, knowing that VCO comes from coconut, consuming coconut milk like cooking meals, with it has the same or near the effectivity of VCO in combating infections such as COVID. I would like to ask this since here in Bicol, coconut milk is widely used in various dishes and its frequency of use. Thank you so much.
Okay. Actually po, pagdating sa technicalities on how to prepare the VCO, I have to admit medyo hindi po ako ganun kagamay, no? But definitely I understand that there's a difference when it comes to processing yung virgin coconut oil as compared to a regular coconut milk. Pero I think it's premature to rule out na pareho sila ng effect. Kasi una-una, may mga na-preserve na components ng coconut kapag siya ay napaproseso ng mas maingat as the ones that being prepared, the ones being done for the virgin coconut oil. Kaya nga sa virgin coconut oil kasi talagang ingat na ingat yung pagkakaproseso niya. But coming from the same fruit, perhaps may sabi ko, it's premature to rule out na pareho sila ng effect. Pero galing sila sa parehong fruit siguro nagkakaiba lang sila sa proseso. And dun sa proseso, may mga na-preserve na mga importanteng components ng coconut. Yun po. But then again, babalik po tayo sa basic. No? Sabi nga nila, it's a tree of life. So marami pong pakinabang sa coconut. Hindi lang sa fruit nito, kundi halos lahat. No? So basically, kung naghahanap naman po tayo ng magandang produkto o something that we have to consume, isasama po natin siyempre ang coconut milk doon sa mga niluluto po natin. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Jacos. Pagpahingahin muna natin si Sir Jacos. So the next question goes for Ma'am Shari. Ma'am Shari, with the present high malnutrition vis-a-vis SDG targets over the years, MDGs included and all other targets, what do you propose as a more realistic approach to the problem given the institutionalized nutrition intervention packages that are offered and hopefully made available? Thank you. Ma'am Shari.
Yeah.
Ma'am Shari, naka-mute po. Sorry.
Okay, good morning once again. Babasahin ko na lang po yung sinulat ko kanina.
Okay. Ay, sige, ako na lang. Ma'am Shari, sige.
Okay.
Have you seen it na po? Yes. Actually, this was answered by Ma'am Shari dun sa QA and back. So for Ma'am Shari's answer, so since there are already institutionalized nutrition intervention packages, there should be strict monitoring of the implementation of this intervention so that we can capture immediately the problems from the implementation and address promptly. Thanks. So yun, that's the answer po of Ma'am Shari that was shikiin sa doon po sa Q&A box natin. Again po, I'd like to say hi po. Good morning, Ma'am Dr. Agdepa. Hello po. Good morning, Doc A. Again po, for Sir Jacos, the question is from our former division chief, Dr. Akuin. Since COVID-19 is a viral illness, we expect most individuals to ultimately recover. One of the ways that VCO might have impact is through faster recovery rates. Was there a significant difference in recovery times between experimental and control groups?
Alright, maraming salamat po sa tanong, Dr. Akuin. Of course, dun po sa mga parameters na chinek natin, so meron tayong lipid, meron tayong FBS. I think if we're going to contextualize it, ang pinakamalapit po dun sa tanong ninyo regarding dun sa recovery rates would be on the variable that we look into how fast the participants would have the diminishing symptoms. So basically po doon sa resulta po natin, I think medyo in passing yata yung pagkakapresent ko po noon. But there's a significant difference when it comes to the recovery sa araw na nawalan sila na hindi sila nakaramdam ng sintomas. So doon po sa intervention group, as early as the 19th day of the intervention, wala na pong nagre-report ng sintomas. So of course, as a proxy indicator of recovery, if we can contextualize it that way, mas nauna pong nag-recover o nawala ng sintomas yung mga participants natin na kumakain ng pagkain na mayroong VCO. On the control group, on the other hand, when it comes to reporting ng mga sintomas na nararamdaman nila, wala na po tayong participant na nag-report on the 23rd day. So kung titignan po natin, mas maagang nag-report na wala ng sintomas yung mga nandun sa ating intervention group. So I think I was able to answer your question po, Dr. Acoy. Salamat po.
Thank you, Sir Jacos. I think that's the only time that we have for the Q&A. And for those questions who were not able to accommodate, you may approach our panelists offline. Actually, you may give them a direct message kasi online naman po sila lahat para po masagutan yung mga questions nyo po. Indeed, a very interesting discussion we have for this morning. Thank you very much to Sir Jacos and to Ma'am Shari. I think, and they deserve some recognition. And with that, let us proceed to the awarding of the certificate. I would like to read the citation. Republic of the Philippines Department of Science and Technology Food and Nutrition Research Institute, in cooperation with the Food and Nutrition Research Institute Employees Association Incorporated, present this certificate certificate of appreciation to Ms. Charmaine A. Duante for sharing her invaluable time and knowledge as presenter of the paper titled The Pre-COVID-19 Food and Nutrition Situations of Filipinos during the 47th FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition. With the theme Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days, Starting Right is the Right Start. Given this 9th day of July 2021 at the Department of Science and Technology Food and Nutrition Research Institute, signed by the co-chair of the 47th FNRI Seminar Series, Ms. Joanne M. Castro, and the president of the FNRI Employees Association Incorporated, Ms. Leia Sidahay, and of course our director and scientist too, Imelda Angeles, Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa. And the same citation goes to Sir Jacus for the paper titled The Effects of Virgin Coconut Oil Among Suspect and Probable Cases of COVID-19 during the 47th FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition. So may we also call in our members of the MANCOM committee for the photo opportunity. So are we ready? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay na po. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Jacobs. Thank you, Ma'am Shari. Thank you to all our
Thank you.
Manco
Congratulations. And Dave, thank you.
Thank you po kay Dr. Agdepa, kay Dr. po, kay Ma'am Marie. Sino pa po ba nakita ko? Hello po. Good morning po.
Congrats, Ma'am Shari, Sir Jacobs. Thank you, Sir Dave.
Thank you po. Thank you. So I think that ends. Yes. Thank you po. Thank you po ako talaga. Thank you. Thank you. So that ends the technical session 7. We would like to thank everyone for your participation, and we hope that you have learned a lot from this session. So let me read a few reminders. Please answer the post test at the FSS website. This will be available up to 3 days after the event. Also, you will be asked to input an FSS technical session code. For this session, our FSS technical session code is PML254. Again, PML254. It is important that you provide the correct FSS technical session code, and failure to do so will mean that you did not answer the post test. Hence, you will not receive the certificate of the session. Only registered participants will be given certificates, which will be available once you answer the post test and evaluation link. Also, on accomplishing the evaluation form, be reminded to complete the data on profession, PRC number, and expiry date. Again, profession, PRC number, and expiry date as a requirement for CPD units. Certificates of attendance for each session will be available once you answer the evaluation link. You will not be awarded with CPD units on this. Certificate of participation will be available once you answer the post-test and evaluation link of all technical sessions. Only those with certificates of participation will be awarded CPD units. All certificates will be available starting July 12, 2021. So that's 3 days after the last itong event natin, last day of the event. And then we have our thank yous po to our sponsor, the 47th DOST-FNRI. Okay, meron muna po tayong announcement for a convention. So the Philippine Association of Nutrition 2021 Pan Convention will have malnutrition, tulong-tulong nating labanan, first 1,000 days, sama-sama nating tutukan. So this will be held on July 22 to 23. So just visit the link po for the registration. So that's the Philippine Association of Nutrition 2021 Pan Convention via virtual platform po. And then we have some sponsors to thank po. The 47th DOST-FNRI Seminar Series would like to acknowledge our sponsors. So for the gold sponsors, Nutridens Food Manufacturing Corporation, a leading food manufacturer of healthy, nutritious, and research-based and food products distributed nationwide. Swiss Pharma Research Laboratories Incorporated, a leading manufacturer of pharmaceutical products in the Philippines and a technology adapter of the Enhanced Nutriban. For our silver sponsors, Maan's Bake Shop from Davao City, one of the newest licensees of the DOST-FNRI developed enhanced Nutriban technology. And for our bronze sponsors, the Department of Science and Technology, National Capital Region, DOST-NCR, Regional Office, Mary Lois Food Products and Merchandising from Tumawini, Isabela. Waffle Time and Great Foods Concepts Incorporated in Iloilo City, and RCG Trading and General Merchandise. And for our other major sponsors, we are grateful for our partners, the Philippine Association of Nutrition Incorporated, the First Analytical Services and Technical Cooperative or FAST Laboratories, Artechip Bread House from Eastern Samar, Ruben's Bake Shop from Catbalogan, Samar, JA Fruits and Vegetable Processing from San Mateo, Isabela, Science Savings and Loan Association or SLI, the Hermanos Pizza from Tangub City, Misamis Occidental, and Wellness Pro. Again, thank you all so much for your time. And then before I end the session, I would like also to congratulate the working committee of the 47th FNRI seminar series, especially shout out to the scientific program committee. So congratulations.
Yes, to Joanne.
So please stay for the closing ceremonies, which will start po in a while po. We will have just a 15-minute break before the closing ceremony. So thank you very much po and keep safe po. Thank you.
Hello, Philippines! Kaway-kaway sa mga taga Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Welcome to the closing ceremonies of the 47th DOST-FNRI Seminar Series. I am Frances Isabel Hakalan, and I am delighted to be your host for this ceremony. Allow me to greet everyone na imbaga bigat, masantos ya kabuwasan, maya payabak, magandang umaga, marhay na aga, maayong buntag, maayong aga, and maupay nga aga to all our participants and viewers via Zoom, our Facebook page, and YouTube channel. We have reached the end of DOST-FNRI's celebration of Nutrition Month. All throughout the week, we have been joined by over 1,000 individuals composed of public health professionals and practitioners, nutrition workers, various entrepreneurs, members of the academe and research organizations, partners from the food industry, and our media partners. Maraming salamat po for staying with us until the last day of this year's seminar series. Once again, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our extinguished guests. Our former FNRI directors, Dr. Rodolfo Florentino, Dr. Corazon Barba, and Dr. Mario Capansana. Dr. Cecilia Acoin, our PAN President, Ms. Zenaida Velasco, our ENDA President, Ms. Julieta Dorado, Ms. Joy Ramos Buenviaje, our PRC Board of Nutrition and Dietetics, Director Cesar R. Pedraza, Planning and Evaluation Service and Managing Director of SME Soft Incorporated or SSI, our DOST CAR Director, Dr. Nancy Bantog, Dr. Celeste Tanchoco, Dr. Desiree Daniega from FNRI Ethics Committee, our current chair, and also with us, FNRI Ethics Committee member, Mr. Red De Silva. We also have Dr. Maria Asuncion Silvestre from KMI, Ms. Ellen Villate from PAN, Ms. Maria Teresa Ungson from NNC Regional Nutrition Program Coordinator for Region 11, Mr. Merrick Principe, Nutrition and Health Assistant Manager of Unilever Philippines, Ms. Rhea Benavides de Leon, Research Consultant of the UN World Food Program Philippines, Dr. Maria Teresa Talavera, UPLB Institute of Human Nutrition and Food College of Human Ecology, Dr. Dalia Apodaca, Head of the Biochemical Genetics Laboratory of the National Institutes of Health. Good morning also to Ms. Maria Lourdes Vega, the Executive Director of the Nutrition Foundation of the Philippines, Dr. Benjamina Paula Gonzalez Flor, College of Development Communication at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Of course, our Director and Scientist too, Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, and our Deputy Director, Dr. Anthony Calibo. Once again, good morning to everyone. I would like to also shout out again to our 654 participants from Zoom. And we have 118 viewers from our YouTube channel. Before we begin, allow us to share with you a short clip depicting the 74 years of FNRI's mission to fight malnutrition through accurate data, correct information, and innovative technologies, underlining problems faced by people. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all watch this. There we have it, the DOST-FNRI's quest to combat malnutrition, mula noon hanggang ngayon. We hope that the clip you just saw serves as a reminder not only for the Institute, but also to its stakeholders of the hard modern-day realities, underscoring the need for all of us to be generous, responsible, and aware. And now to our program proper. I am sure that during your 5-day attendance in the plenary and technical sessions, you have been informed of research and development, as well as science and technology undertakings of the Institute. The DOST-FNRI, with all other international, national, and local government and non-government organizations, are working together to eradicate the problems of malnutrition by promoting programs on maternal, newborn, and child health and nutrition as the right start in creating a well-nourished nation. Now, to wrap up our 5-day event, may I now turn over the virtual floor to Ms. Joanne Castro, Senior Science Research Specialist of the Service Laboratory Group of the DOST-FNRI and the Chair of the Scientific Program Committee of this year's seminar series. Over to you, Ms. Castro.
Good morning, everyone. Yan. It has been a week of fruitful and enriching discussion on the latest nutrition updates, recently developed products, and timely technology innovations. With that, we'd like to thank you all for staying with us until today. This year's 47th DOST-FNRI Seminar Series highlights the theme, Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days. Starting right is the right start. The plenary and technical sessions aimed to underscore the importance of the first 1,000 days of life and how it is the right start towards creating a healthy nation. Thus, the technical sessions and the plenary session were crafted per age group. In addition to this, household nutrition and DOST-FNRI's whereabouts before and during the COVID-19 pandemic were also included in the last two sessions. Now, it is my pleasure to provide you with a virtual wrap of this informative week-long event. The opening ceremony featured the presence of our Honorable DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña and the keynote speech of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations representative in the Philippines, Ms. Katie Hanel Taninen. Secretary de la Peña emphasized the importance of breastfeeding by sharing how her mother provides breast milk to the child of their neighbor during wartime. Secretary de la Peña also discussed the accomplishments of the DOST-FNRI at the peak of the pandemic last 2020, and he encouraged the Institute to continue developing more products and technologies to address the needs of the Filipinos, as well as helping food industries and agricultural sectors. He also encouraged us to do more collaborative studies with other agencies or academe using the results of the expanded National Nutrition Survey. Ms. Taninen, on the other hand, reported that the trends in food insecurity contribute to the increased risk of malnutrition among children, and the decline in nutritional status in this vulnerable group is more pronounced in children between 6 to 24 months. This age window is crucial to the child's nutritional growth as they transition from being exclusively breastfed to the introduction to complementary feeding, aside from continued adequate intake of breast milk. During this complementary feeding is where malnutrition usually arises. Thus, young children should have access to safe, adequate, and nutritious food. Despite evolving issues affecting malnutrition, there are also advancements in nutrition interventions that address such challenges. Ms. Taninen discussed that FAO is further enhancing nutrition strategy through a people-centered approach. Ms. Taninen ended her keynote speech by sharing the FAO's commitment to supporting our government in achieving food security and preventing all forms of malnutrition in the country. The plenary session in the afternoon commenced this year's FSS with presentations of DOST-FNRI Director Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa and Deputy Director Ms. Dr. Anthony Calibo. Dr. Agdepa discussed the food and nutrient intake of breastfeeding mothers based on the result of the 2019 Expanded National Nutrition Survey. She identified gaps in the dietary intake of breastfeeding mothers and how it correlates with the infant nutritional outcomes. Dr. Calibo, in his topic, shared a synthesis on the Lancet series, a series on maternal and child undernutrition progress and its implication in research and development. To enrich the discussion, Dr. Agdepa and Dr. Calibo were joined by three experts on maternal and child nutrition. Dr. Apet Dayang Hirang, the Executive Director of the National Nutrition Council, Dr. Mian Silvestre, President of Kalusugan ng Mag-ina Inc., and Dr. Mers Makalintal, Pediatric Consultant and Pediatric Clinical Nutrition Specialist in Asian Hospital and Makati Medical Center. The three reactors expressed their views on the presentation of Dr. Agdepa and Dr. Calibo, and they shared common recommendations on strengthening the nutrition counseling services and advocating more nutrition champions to the local level. There is really a need to improve policies and interventions among lactating mothers and translate these policies into actions to fill the gaps in their nutrient intake. In the first technical session, the behavioral or biological perception on the nutrition assessment of mother and early life feeding were presented. The speakers provided the participants with an in-depth understanding of the factors affecting health-seeking behavior among teenage mothers. Important considerations when initiating breastfeeding among Filipino mothers were also communicated. Lastly, results of metagenomics profiling study involving infants and young children were disseminated. The session also took the opportunity to present the continuing efforts of the Institute in expanding the public's understanding of early life nutrition with use of omics technology. Technical Session 2 underscored DOST's innovative approaches for improving maternal, newborn, and child nutrition and health, from technology generation to product development to menu guide calendar preparation. Our champions for this technical session provided information about the development of the menu guide calendar for infants and young children, as well as the latest DOST-FNRI food technologies and innovations that are tailored for pregnant women and women of reproductive age. The participants were acquainted with the processes involved in the production of instant enteral food formula and fortified food products that are customized to a specific group. This session opened opportunities for collaboration and community and industry-based partnerships. Technical Session 3 provided a snapshot of serum zinc deficiency and vitamin D status among Filipino children in selected areas in the Philippines. The participants were made aware of the underlying factors affecting levels of zinc and vitamin D. This session stimulated important discussions on the current strategies on micronutrient deficiency, particularly in the vulnerable groups. The life course approach of the 47th FSS was accentuated in Technical Session 4 as it introduces various facets of health and nutrition among young Filipinos. This session emphasized the vulnerability of this life stage, nutritional status of Filipino adolescents with emphasis on the effects of alcohol drinking, the major determinants of non-communicable diseases with a special focus on early life overweight and obesity. The relationship between teenage alcohol drinking and adolescent nutrition also offered a novel perspective on how to approach the health and well-being of the Filipino people. The World Health Organization proclaimed 2021 to 2030 the United Nations Decade of Healthy Aging. Technical Session 5 provided an understanding of the influences of social determinants in shaping the health and nutritional status of the country's aging population. The speakers shared the results about the potential utility of incorporating genomics information in simulating algorithms for the prevention and management of the non-communicable diseases. The link between socioeconomic status and NCD's incidence among Filipino adults was also communicated to the participants. Likewise, the association of household food insecurity with the chronic energy deficiency of elderly Filipinos was also discussed. Technical Session 6 summarized the relevant policies and implications from the results of the National Nutrition Survey, from the consumption of the sugar-sweetened beverages to reading food and nutrition labels to the food consumption of Filipinos at individual and household levels. The participants of this session were acquainted with the status of the food and sugar-sweetened beverage consumption of the Filipinos and how this benefited us in reading food product and nutrition labels. This technical session increased awareness of proper dietary choices in order to attain optimum nutrition at the individual and household levels. Earlier today, Technical Session 7 provided us a recent picture of the nutritional status of Filipinos about a year before the COVID-19 pandemic and the effects of the virgin coconut oil in the biochemical markers of the suspect and probable cases of COVID-19. This technical session initiated relevant and nutritional health strategies towards better normal of the Filipino people. With all the R&D and S&T projects presented this year, we truly hope that we have successfully justified the power of the first 1,000 days. Because children who get optimum nutrition in the first 1,000 days are more likely to be healthy during birth and less likely to acquire illness and disease such as obesity and type 2 diabetes. So in return, children can actively participate in school and enjoy improved health and economic security as adults. So right after leaving this Zoom webinar or our YouTube stream this morning, let us all start to do it right for the first time. And before I end this, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my immense gratitude to the members of the Scientific Program Committee. So, you guys have been with me through the first draft of the scientific program, dry run, recording sessions, and up to the last-minute revisions and on-site difficulties. So thank you all for your hard work and dedication to pull off another victorious FSS virtual event for the Institute and for our dear stakeholders. Thank you and see you all at the next DOST-FNRI seminar series.
Thank you, Ms. Castro. Again, allow me to congratulate all the panelists, speakers, reactors, presenters, and moderators for your valuable input to this year's online program. Let us all give them a virtual round of applause. In addition to the plenary and technical sessions, the seminar series of DOST-FNRI also include the scientific poster exhibit and competition. Every year, our researchers exert extra effort in conceptualizing their e-posters for better appreciation of the results of their studies. Also, a scientific poster competition is held to recognize outstanding R&D and S&T endeavors of the Institute communicated through creative and effective use of visual and social media. Let me now call on the virtual floor Ms. Ruby Frane, a Senior Science Research Specialist from the Nutrition and Food Research and Development Division of DOST-FNRI and the Chair of the Scientific Poster Committee, to present the criteria and award the winners for this year's e-poster competition. Over to you, Ms. Frane.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. We have come to the last part of our activity for today, and that is the announcement of the winners for the 47th Scientific Poster Competition. Every year, the FNRI showcase or highlights the food and nutrition researches and science and technology activities from previous year. However, this last year, dahil po sa COVID-19 pandemic, we have to deviate from the traditional presentation of poster exhibit using tarpaulin and TV monitors into electronic posters. Nonetheless, we are grateful that we have this opportunity to celebrate this event amidst the pandemic. Today, I am thrilled and to announce the winner and to congratulate all poster authors for participating in this year's scientific poster competition. Okay, in this year's competition, we have a total of 28 poster entries. We have 2 awards to give. The first award is the People's Choice Award. It is awarded to the authors whose poster have garnered highest or the most number engagement, such as likes, shares, and comments on the Facebook page. The second award is the Best Poster Award. This award is given to authors that best exhibit technical merits recognition of their posters. Before moving on, this is also a great opportunity to recognize our colleagues who have completed their master's or doctoral degree and submit their works for poster entry. So this last year, we have 1 graduate student, and this is Ms. Leia B. Landicho, who finished her master's in Public Management Technology-Based Enterprise Development at the Ateneo de Manila University School of Government. So please allow me with Dr. Agdepa and Dr. Calibo to give the certificate of participation. Let me read the citation. Republic of the Philippines Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute, in cooperation with the Food and Nutrition Research Institute Employees Association Incorporated, present the certificate of participation to Ms. Leia B. Landicho for participating in the scientific poster competition graduate student category for the poster titled Determining and Overcoming Barriers that Affect the Sustainable Commercialization of DOST-FNRI Transfer Technologies during the 47th FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition with the theme Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days, Starting Right is the Right Start, given this 9th of July 2021 at the Department of Science and Technology for the Nutrition Research Institute. Signed, Ms. Charmaine A. Duante, Overall Chair, 47 FNRI Seminar Series, Ms. Leia C. Dahay, President, FNRI Employees Association Incorporated, and Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, Director 4 and Scientist 2. She will also be receiving 3,000 pesos in cash for her poster entry. Likewise, before I announce the winner, okay, on behalf of FNRI, we would like also to thank our respectable external panel of judges, okay, for their expertise, time, and dedication to this competition. So we have Maria Lourdes A. Vega, Executive Director, Nutrition Foundation of the Philippines, Dr. Maria Teresa M. Talavera, Associate Dean and Professor, Institute of Human Nutrition and Food, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Dr. Benjamina Paula Gonzalez Flor, Professor, College of Development Communication, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Dr. Dalia C. Apodaca, Head, Biochemical Genetics Laboratory, National Institute of Health, and last but not the least, Dr. Brian G. Alamani, Assistant Professor, Bioprocess Engineering Laboratory, Department of Chemical Engineering, University of the Philippines, Delman. Indeed, they have done an excellent job. Having them, we were able to identify the top 10 research for the Best Poster Award. Now, just to share to the group, nag-comment po yung ating judges, and they said that they enjoyed reading the posters. The experience is very enriching and enlightening, and they have gained new ideas. And with that, we are happy to hear yung mga ganitong comments. Thank you very much to our Board of Judges. So allow me with Dr. Agdepa and Dr. Calibo to present the Certificate of Appreciation to our Board of Judges. First, to Dr. Brian G. Alamani for sharing his invaluable time and expertise as judge for the Scientific Poster Competition R&D S&T category held during the 47 FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition. With the theme, Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days, Starting Right is the Right Start, given 9th day of July 2021 at the Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute. Signed, Ms. Charmaine A. Duante, Overall Chair, 47 FNRI Seminar Series, with Ms. Leia C. Dahay, President, FNRI Employees Association Incorporated, and Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, Director 4 and Scientist 2. The same certificate will be given to Ms. Maria Lourdes V. Vega, Maria Teresa M. Talavera, Benjamin Paula Gonzalez Flor, and Dr. Dalia C. Apodaca. Okay, so now let's get the ball rolling. I'm sure this is what everybody is waiting for. We will announce first the People's Choice Award. For our winner for the People's Choice Award, they will receive a certificate and a plaque of recognition and will be receiving 3,000 pesos in cash. Okay, I will be mentioning the title of the poster followed by the author's name as I read the certificate of recognition. So please give a big round of applause to our People's Choice Award this year. Congratulations to our People's Choice Award this year. Updating of the food exchange list for kidney disease. Okay, with an engagement of 3,423. The Republic of the Philippines, Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute, in cooperation with the Food and Nutrition Research Institute Employees Association Incorporated, awards the Certificate of Recognition to Ms. Marilu L. Madrid, yours truly, Hazel P. Lat, David Kenneth C. Mendoza, Merlin G. Tahan, April Lynn B. S. Viloria, Julian Janine B. Carillo, Dr. Celeste C. Tanchoco. Updating of the food exchange list for renal disease, People's Choice Award, Scientific Poster Competition, R&D S&T category, 47 FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition, with the theme Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days, Starting Right is the Right Start, given this 9th day of July 2021 at the Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute. Signed, Ms. Charmaine A. Duante, Overall Chair, 47 FNRI Seminar Series, Ms. Leia C. Dahay, President, FNRI Employees Association Incorporated, and Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, Director 4 and Scientist 2. Okay, they will also be receiving a plaque of recognition and a cash prize of 3,000 pesos. So congratulations. Next is the Best Poster Award. Judges' decision have named the top 10 posters. Okay, the top 7 posters will be receiving a certificate of recognition and a consolation prize of 1,000 pesos. So I'll be announcing the top 7 posters of no particular order. So congratulations to, again, I'll be mentioning the title of the poster and then followed by the author's name. So congratulations to cholesterol check. Does your cholesterol fall between the normal level? Association between socioeconomic status, selected NCD, risk factors, and the prevalence of treatment of hypercholesterolemia among Filipino adults. Chona F. Patalen, Maria Stephanie N. Parani, Carla Denise A. Inso, Applejoy D. Ducay, and Charmaine A. Duante. Next, development of lyophilized fish muscle as laboratory quality control test material. Ms. Leia C. Dahay, Jolie C. Cotara, Melissa O. Guerra, Jennifer C. Laurea, Mylene B. Martin, Prudencio E. Adonia Jr., and Ms. Maricar Gail Y. Parcarel. Next, congratulations to the Mission Impossible, Better Health, Brighter Future, assessment of selected risk factors for non-communicable diseases among Filipino adolescents and adults, expanded nutrition national survey by Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, Shona F. Patalen, Ms. Charmaine Duante, and Dr. Mario V. Capansana. Congratulations also to vitamin D status in 6 to 12 years old children in selected provinces and cities, expanded nutrition survey 2018 by Michael E. Serafico, Dr. Imelda Agdepa, Marites B. Alibayan, Joselita Rosario C. Ulanday, Maria Lilibet P. Dasco, Maria Linel V. Maniego, Mayan S. A. Javier, Apple J. D. Ducay, and Dr. Mario V. Capansana. Okay, so next is congratulations also to the yield factors for the calculation of nutrient content of cooked food, cooked or prepared foods by Ms. Christine B. Nacionales, Regina G. Rodriguez, Alexandra Lynn E. David, Maria Arisa C. Bailosis, and Jem D. Serrano. Okay, another congratulations to the top 7 innovative food products for women of reproductive age, pregnant and lactating women by Marcela C. Saices, Abby L. Padrones, Teresa Crista B. Holehole, Charlie E. Adona, Isa B. Umali, John Lester G. Ramirez, Ruben N. Pasis, and Jumi Mer B. Lala. Okay. Congratulations po. Next is the effect of virgin coconut oil, suspect and probable cases of COVID-19 by Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, Dr. Mario V. Capansana, Jacos S. Nasis, Carl Vincent D. Cabanilla, and Dr. Fabian M. Dairit. Okay, so there you have it, the top 7 posters. Now, let's move forward to the most interesting part of this announcement, which is the highest 3 ranked posters. Starting from our 3rd place winner, our 3rd place winner will be receiving a certificate and a plaque of recognition and a cash prize of 2,000 pesos. Okay, so ready na po? Okay, so please give a warm round of applause to the poster titled our 3rd place winner. Congratulations to dietary zinc and underlying factors of serum zinc deficiency among preschool children in the Philippines with a ranking score of 85.33. So we'll be reading the certificate of recognition. Okay, so Republic of the Philippines, Department of Science and Technology for the Nutrition Research Institute in cooperation with the Food and Nutrition Research Institute Employees Association Incorporated awards the Certificate of Recognition to Dr. Eva G. Goyena, Maria Linel V. Maniego, Apple Joy D. Ducay, Maria Cristina A. Musa, and Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa for the poster dietary zinc intake and the underlying factors of serum zinc deficiency among preschool children in the Philippines. 3rd place winner, Best Poster Award, Scientific Poster Competition, R&D and S&T category, 47 FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition with the theme Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days, Starting Right is the Right Start. Given this 9th of July, 2021 at the Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute. Signed, Ms. Charmaine A. Duante, Overall Chair, FNRI, 47 FNRI Seminar Series. Ms. Leia C. Dahay, President, FNRI Employees Association Incorporated, and Ms. Joanne M. Castro, Co-Chair, 47 FNRI Seminar Series. So congratulations. Next. They will also be given plaque of recognition, and they will be receiving 2,000 pesos as cash prize. Now, time to call upon the second place winner with a ranking score of 86%. Congratulations to Gut Microbiota Profiles of 6 to 24 months old infants and young children. Okay. And we will be reading the citation for the Certificate of Recognition, Republic of the Philippines, Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute, in cooperation with the Food and Nutrition Research Institute Employees Association, Incorporated, awards the Certificate of Recognition to Ms. Mays and B. Aquino, Ida C. Malilin, Angelo R. Sastre, Maria Jovina S. Sandoval, Amster Faith P. Bakiran, Melissa S. Bergladan, and James David S. Alcantara. For the poster titled Gut Microbiota Profiles of 6 to 24 months old infants and young children. Second place, Best Poster Award, Scientific Poster Competition, and R&D and S&T category, 47 FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition. With the theme, Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days, Starting Right is the Right Start. Given this 9th of July, 2021, at the Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute. Signed, Ms. Charmaine A. Duante, Overall Chair, 47 FNRI Seminar Series, Ms. Leia C. Dahay, Dahay President, FNRI Employees Association Incorporated, and Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, Director 4 and Scientist 2. They will also be receiving a plaque of recognition and a cash prize of 3,000 pesos. Okay, so now we are down with the grand prize winner for this year's scientific poster competition, okay, with a rating of 86.66. Okay, so congratulations to the poster titled Determinants of Overweight and Obesity Among Filipino Adolescents 2018 Expanded National Nutrition Survey Philippines. The Republic of the Philippines, Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute, in cooperation with the Food and Nutrition Research Institute Employees Association Incorporated, awards a Certificate of Recognition to Ms. Josie Platon Desnacido, Maria Lilibet Pidasco, Applejoy D. Ducay, Ms. Charmaine A. Duante, and Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa, for the poster Determinants of Overweight and Obesity Among Filipino Adolescents 2018 Expanded National Nutrition Survey Philippines. First place winner, Best Poster Award, Scientific Poster Competition R&D and S&T category, 47 FNRI Seminar Series Virtual Edition. With the theme, Good Nutrition in the First 1,000 Days, Starting Right is the Right Start. Given this 9th day of July 2021 at the Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute. Signed, Ruby D. Frane, Chair, Poster Exhibit and Competition 47 FNRI Seminar Series, Ms. Leia C. Dalay, President, FNRI Employees Association Incorporated, and Ms. Joanne M. Castro, Co-Chair, 47 FNRI Seminar Series. Okay, congratulations po. They will also be receiving a plaque of recognition and a cash prize of 5,000 pesos. Okay. So before we end, let me extend my heartfelt thanks to the members of the organizing committee headed by Ma'am Chari A. Duante, okay, and the co-chair, Ms. Joanne M. Castro, as well as thank you to the Scientific Poster Committee, Promotion and Publicity Committee, Finance Committee, and Awards Committee, thank you for all your assistance to the Scientific Poster Committee. Okay, and lastly, I'd like to send a massive thanks to the members of the 47th Scientific Poster Committee with co-chair Marieta P. Rodriguez, Marilu L. Madrid, Robbie Carlo A. Tan, Novelyn C. Santos, Merlin G. Tahan, Hazel T. Lat, David Kenneth D. Mendoza, Mark Presel Sumaraga, Joven H. Hayagan, May Ann R. Concepcion, Krishna L. Borjar, and Tracy Adelaide C. Sanchez. Thank you for their efforts and so much more to champion and make this exhibition and competition a success. Okay, so again, thank you very much for being a great audience, and thank you all to authors for making this an excellent competition and celebration. And again, okay, good morning to everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Frane. Thank you once again to our judges for the scientific poster competition, and to all our winners, congratulations. For those of you who have not yet seen our e-posters or would still like to revisit them once again, you can visit them in the poster gallery of the FSS website and in the photo gallery of the DOST-FNRI Facebook page. Once again, let us all give our winners a virtual round of applause. We are down to the latter part of our ceremony. To give some take-home message for the participants and to formally conclude our event, may I now call on Dr. Anthony Calibo, the Deputy Director of the DOST-FNRI and co-chair of the Advisory Committee of this year's seminar series. Over to you, Dr. Calibo.
Thank you, Ms. Tata. DOST officials of the central and regional offices and PSTCs, Director Imelda Angeles Antepa, our Director Foreign Scientists, former FNRI directors and deputy directors, distinguished guests and esteemed speakers, as well as poster presenters, colleagues in government, champions and advocates of nutrition and food security, employees and other personnel of the DOST system, and also the DOST-FNRI based in the office, working from home, and those in the field, the academe, professional organization, representatives, civil society, non-government organizations, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everyone. This might be the end, but this is the start of better things ahead of us. We started it right, and the DOST-FNRI is hopeful we can work together to begin a right start. I would like to express my appreciation to all the invited guests, speakers, panel reactors, and the moderators for their valuable contribution to the 47th FNRI seminar series over the last 5 days. My deepest gratitude goes to all who attended the seminar series all over the country and perhaps even in other parts of the world, and who helped us to make this event very successful and memorable. The DOST-FNRI is mandated to spearhead scientific works that will help define the nutritional status of the Philippines. We are likewise instructed to develop policy recommendations and tools, products and services, and diffuse knowledge and technologies related to food and nutrition. However, the DOST-FNRI cannot execute these mandates in isolation. We need allies. We need more minds and hands, including the heart and passion to work with us. The fact that the FSS or the FNRI seminar series have become an annual feature of the work of the Institute, it is with hopeful anticipation that as we near the 50th FNRI seminar series, the past 4 decades of the FSS have provided us a timely glimpse of the rapid changes in this very important facet of our lives, food and nutrition. I am certain that the takeaways for this event will further deepen our thinking and stimulate our passion to work together to achieve our collective goal, that is a well-nourished nation. With a total of 7 technical sessions that showcase the recent works of the DOST-FNRI that span the life stages, including very interesting, well thought of, and well-designed posters, I think the series has been effective in meeting its purpose to provide an overview of what is the latest in food and nutrition researches, to enable a collegial exchange of ideas with special focus on what we can do to elevate the discussions on the first 1,000 days of life and to raise important and interesting points in food and nutrition during the pandemic and even after its resolution. As in-house researchers, our speakers have acknowledged the DOST-FNRI's unique position to spearhead food and nutrition research and development and innovation through science-informed science and technology services. Indeed, our role to inform and diffuse these things were highlighted through this event. But more far-reaching than that is our call to action, that we have to work together and help us put our data, numbers, statistics, and findings into real-world application that will definitely benefit everyone, every Juana, and their Juanito and Juanita. Before ending my closing remarks, I would like to convey a special thanks to the DOST management and to our former directors who, despite being incognito in the virtual platforms, can also be seen through their names displayed in the Zoom. And they have become our guide. To our director, Dr. Imelda Angeles Adepa, for donning the game face on, despite all the challenges we all are facing because of the uncertainties of this pandemic. Finally, my deepest thanks go to the FNRI Employees Association, headed by its president, Ms. Leia Dahay, and all its officials and members of its board, and to the working committees of the FNRI Seminar Series for their priceless contributions and for running a smooth, memorable event. I hope we'll be able to rest after this and, of course, finalize the documentation needed. Ang pagsisimula ng tama ay tamang simula. Starting right is the right start. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Mabuhay po ang DOST-FNRI.
Thank you so much, Dr. Calibo. Indeed, better things are coming. Starting right is the right start. So before we end, allow me to make some acknowledgements and announcements. Okay, first, we would like to thank the various committees who made the 47th seminar series seamlessly executed and truly successful. The advisory committee chaired by Dr. Imelda Angeles Agdepa and co-chaired by Dr. Anthony Calibo. The finance committee chaired by Mr. Chester Virina and co-chaired by Ms. Mary Grace Dalay. The awards committee chaired by Ms. Christine Nacionales and co-chaired by Ms. Leia Dahay. The Documentation and Evaluation Committee, chaired by Ms. Devora Aguila and co-chaired by Ms. Marilita Aguilos. The Book of Abstracts and Souvenir Program Committee, chaired by Ms. Idelia Glorioso and co-chaired by Ms. Shannon Faye Arevalo. The Invitation Committee, chaired by Ms. Selina Ann Navarro and co-chaired by Mr. Dexter De Leon. The Logistics Committee chaired by Engineer Jesiel Agaban and co-chaired by Mr. Marlon Balitaon. The Organizing Committee chaired by Ms. Charmaine Duante and co-chaired by Ms. Joanne Castro. The Promotion and Publicity Committee chaired by Mr. Nicole Bristol and co-chaired by Mr. Salvador Serrano. The Registration Committee chaired by Ms. Mayan Javier and co-chaired by Ms. Maria Linel Maniego. The Scientific Program Committee chaired by Ms. Joanne Castro and co-chaired by Mr. Jacus Nasis. The Scientific Poster Committee chaired by Ms. Ruby Frane and co-chaired by Ms. Marieta Rodriguez. The Ways and Means Committee chaired by Ms. Maria Lilibeth Dasco and co-chaired by Ms. Chona Patalen. The Foods and Refreshment Committee chaired by Ms. Mayan Hironela and co-chaired by Mr. Irene Agustin Arnejo. And the Venue and Physical Arrangement Committee chaired by Mr. Don Romasanta and co-chaired by Mr. Michael Gumaru. Again, maraming salamat po sa bumubuo sa lahat ng committees sa seminar series ngayong taon. Kudos to everyone. At this point, may I request Dr. Agdepa, Dr. Calibo, our MANCOM members, and all the panelists present here in the Zoom webinar to open your videos and join us for the virtual photo opportunity.
Tata, pati yung mga directors natin kung nandyan pa sila, at saka yung mga ibang mga participants natin, baka pwedeng mag-join.
Yes po. Yes, Doc. So calling all our former DOST-FNRI directors, our distinguished guests.
Ma'am Didi, good morning, Ma'am Didi. Good morning.
Good morning po. So may I be queued if
Doc Anthony, hello.
If we're all set po?
Morning, Ma'am Diti, from the Nutrition Foundation of the Philippines.
Morning, Doc.
Sino nag-click?
We're still waiting po, Doc, for opening po ng lahat po ng ating videos.
Sige po.
Apo.
Si Dr. Florentino, nandyan pa ata. Si Dr. Barba. Si Dr. Kapansana. Namimiss natin sila, di ba? Dapat magpakita na sila.
Nandito na
Nakita ko kanina si Ma'am eh.
Dr. Mel, andito na ho ako. Congratulations ho sa lahat.
Yan na siya. Nakita ko nang kanina si Ma'am eh. Ayan na. Hello, Ma'am.
Congratulations.
Thank you po sa inyo. Si Dr. Kapansana, wala pa.
Okay,
Ma'am, salamat po. Sige.
Hi. Sorry, I can't open my camera.
Bakit po?
Ibang computer ang ginamit ko. Anyway,
Cellphone. Cellphone, sir.
Ika, lilipat ako sa iba. Okay lang. Huwag na mahirap.
Hello, Dr. Nancy. How are you? How's Baguio?
Hello, Director Mel.
Ayun.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Morning po. Sa ating mga Board of Judges, salamat po sa inyo.
Hirap mag-judge, no?
Ganun ba po? Mahirap po ba? Napahirapan po. Sige po. Salamat po sa inyo po.
Thank you.
Okay na ata.
Alright po. Okay na po tayo. Lahat na ng videos ay open. So on my count po. 1, 2, 3, smile. Alright. Let us all give ourselves another big virtual applause.
I-click mo.
Opo, sige po. Asan
Paano
ba
kung
yung
mag-thank you kung may
i-click
virtual
ko?
applause ka, no?
Wala akong virtual applause.
Okay po.
Congratulations.
Salamat po.
Salamat po sa tulong po ninyo. Hindi natin magagawa ito kung wala po kayo eh. Salamat po sa inyo po. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Salamat
Bye,
po.
Dr. Nancy. See you.
Yeah, see you later, ma'am.
Opo.
May
Punta kami
announcements
dyan
pa
para
po
dun sa-
tayo.
Punta kami dyan para sa project. Oo, sige po.
Okay.
Bye-bye po.
Okay po.
Bye-bye. Congratulations ulit. Husay. Till next year.
Sige po, ma'am. Ma'am Seni, salamat.
Okay po, for our few acknowledgements and announcements. Again, I am reminding all our participants to make sure that you have accomplished your post-test and evaluation form at the FSS website. You may complete the post-test and evaluation in all sessions for a maximum of 3 days after the event. If you may be experiencing issues in accomplishing the said forms, you may email us at fss.fnridost2021@gmail.com so we can assist you. Again, that's fss.fnridost2021@gmail.com. The certificates of attendance will be available once you answer the evaluation link. However, you will not be awarded with CPD on this. The certificate of participation will be available once you answer the post-test and evaluation link of all technical sessions. Again, all technical sessions. Only those with certificates of participation will be awarded with CPD units. So if you have already accomplished your post-test and your evaluation link, you may avail your certificates starting July 12, 2021. Also, the DOST-FNRI is in search for new field researchers under the new normal. We are looking for graduates of nutrition and dietetics, as well as nursing graduates. For further inquiries, please contact DOST-FNRI through the information flashed on your screens. We are also in search for registered medical technologists. Qualified or interested applicants must submit their curriculum vitae and a scanned copy of PRC license card or the PRC board results. Interested applicants are advised to submit their application to the email address flashed in your screens. The Philippine Association The Philippine Association of Nutrition Incorporated cordially invites you to the PAN 2021 Annual Convention virtual platform with the theme Malnutrition, Tulong-Tulong Nating Labanan, First 1,000 Days Sama-Sama Nating Tutukan this coming July 22 to 23, 2021. PAN Convention is an annual event hosted by PAN Incorporated to unite its members, student and provincial chapters, professional individuals, and multi-sectoral planners and implementers of the first 1,000 days programs and projects at the local and national levels. PAN has also invited renowned individuals in the field of health and nutrition to discuss on topics regarding the nutrition problems our country encounters today. The PAN Convention offers 4 technical sessions. Technical Session 1 tackles driving social protection for nutrition outcomes. Under this session, the topics that will be presented are scaling the IFR program through enhanced school feeding, its lessons, challenges, and opportunities. Improving access of displaced population to social protection programs to address food insecurity and nutrition during emergencies and calamities. 4 Ps and nutrition outcomes. And integrating nutrition outcomes in the Kapig-Bisig Laban sa Kahirapan comprehensive and integrated delivery of social services. Technical Session 2 is about protecting the most vulnerable population amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Under this session, the topics to be presented are as follows: Barangay F1KD, the strategy for WASH, or the strategy for water, sanitation, and hygiene, building resilience post-COVID. The impact of COVID-19 on health and nutrition services delivery, and scaling up use of home-based MUAC. Technical Session 3 tackles the challenges to food safety in the journey from farm to fork, dispelling myths and misconceptions. Under this session, the topics to be presented are as follows: creating a food safety culture, the safety of biotechnology-modified food, and coping with the pandemic, focus on how food delivery adapts to the crisis. And last but definitely not the least, the Technical Session 4 is about driving agriculture, nutrition, and health interventions towards food and nutrition survey. Under this session, the topics to be discussed are as follows: ensuring safe and nutritious food for all, the opportunities and challenges for the Philippine food system. We will also be having a virtual tour of Kabisig Urban Nutrition from gardens to tables. The Food Security and Nutrition Roadmap will also be presented, supporting the new transition BARMM to resolve food insecurity and malnutrition, and also integrating nutrition in the Philippine healthcare system through universal healthcare will be presented. So register now at the link and in the QR code flashed in your screens. The registration fee is at 200 pesos. You can send your proof of payment to PAN either through email, their Facebook Messenger, and contact number flash again in your screens right now. So PAN will verify your registration and payment first before you receive your confirmation. Expect to receive a confirmation email of your registration with conference links within 24 to 48 hours after providing your proof of payment. For questions or concerns, please feel free to message us on our page or via email at panconvention2021@gmail.com. So again, panconvention2021@gmail.com. So isa na naman pong siksik, liglig at nag-uumapaw na kaalaman ang handog ng hashtag PanConvention2021. So see you there. And lastly, the 47th DOST-FNRI Seminar Series would like to acknowledge our sponsors. So for our gold sponsors, the Nutridense Food Manufacturing Corporation, a leading food manufacturer of healthy, nutritious, and research-based food products distributed nationwide. Swiss Pharma Research Laboratories Incorporated, a leading manufacturer of pharmaceutical products in the Philippines and a technology adapter of the enhanced Nutriban. Our silver sponsor, Maan's Bake Shop from Davao City, one of the newest licensees of the DOST-FNRI developed enhanced Nutriban technology. And our bronze sponsors, the Department of Science and Technology, National Capital Region Regional Office, Mary Louise Food Products and Merchandising from Tumawini, Isabela. Waffle Time and Great Foods Concepts Incorporated in Iloilo City, and RCJ Trading and General Merchandise. And for our other major sponsors, we are grateful for our partners, the Philippine Association of Nutrition Incorporated, the First Analytical Services and Technical Cooperative or FAST Laboratories, Artichoke Bread House from Eastern Samar, Ruben's Bake Shop from Catbalogan, Samar, JA Fruits and Vegetable Processing from San Mateo, Isabela, Science Savings and Loan Association Incorporated or SLI, D. Hermanos Pizza from Tangub City, Misamis Occidental, and Wellness Pro. Again, thank you very much to our sponsors for your continued support. And with that, the 47th DOST-FNRI Seminar Series is now formally closed. Thank you everyone for your participation and see you all on the 48th DOST-FNRI Seminar Series. Have a nice day and stay safe, everyone.
are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough. Just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a round or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. Story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a round or two of exercise. Aim